Hey guys, Paradox Gaming here. Paradox Programming really. And today we're going to make, a program of a card game that I invented years ago. Now it's very simple. If you know the game Blackjack or 21s, it's very similar concept. Basically, if you get the same suit when you ask to twist, if it's the same as the last suit on the last card you drew, you lose all your points that turn. But if you say stick, then you add the points that you earned that turn to your current amount of points or whatever. So this game is called SuitSnap. It's very simple, but whatever. Not as good as Blackjack, but okay. Let's do it. So first of all, we need to get a random deck, so we need to import random. Okay, so next thing we need to make a deck of 52 cards. Now, a quick way of doing that, it's going to be random every time you do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to first of all get the the values for each card. So we'll make that a list. So we'll do one. So yeah, you want to do. God, I missed one. God, here we go. Nice. Okay, so that's probably going to be okay. So then write all the values in on a card. Sorry, you get an ace. I need to do that. I'll be back when I'm done with it. Okay, so we're back, and okay, so in this list, I need some water. We have all the values of a card. So of course we also want Joker because they have a use now. So yeah, any value that could be assigned to a type is in this, except for Joker. We'll make it so if you get a Joker when it's picked random, it will just add Joker to the deck, but you can only do it twice. So we'll do that in a minute. Then you've got to do all of the suits. So simple, just do. Okay, you got spades, clubs. Oh yeah, you need to do space for them as well, of course. We're gonna have of in there as well. Clubs, hearts, and diamonds. Okay, now we've got the suits and values. Okay, so first of all, we want it to do player 1 score equals 0. So basically, it's going to ask you for the goal, and if either one of your scores is greater than that goal, and below the overdraw limit, which is a limit, if you go above that you lose, you win. So you can have an overdraw limit if you want to. Okay, so now this is where we do the random thing. So what you've got to do is you've got to make it so card. What you want to do is, okay, while true, okay, while deck, and deck's going to be the list of cards, of course, it's your pile, while deck does not equal, while len, you want the length of the deck, and we're going to have 54, aren't we, because we're having 2 jokers. Does not equal 54. Okay, random dot shuffle. And this will take any list and just shuffle it up. And then we do say values. Values. And then we do the same for suits. Pretty wondering, but what if you have no, let's just do the rest of it first. Okay, so now we're going to say that if value brackets 0 is equal to Joker, just add Joker to the deck. Okay, if value equals Joker, what am I doing? Deck.append, which is adding to the list, Joker. But we also want to make it so you can't have more than 2 jokers. And how do you make it so it checks? One sec, let me think about this for a second. I've actually got a better way of doing this now because I don't know that command. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the jokers in at the end. So we'll just do the normal deck first. Okay, so you random shuffle the values and you random.shuffle the suits. And then you do card equals values. And we remember the index is what we need here, 0. So whatever is at place 0 in values. Plus of that suit. And then we do suits. Bracket 0. And now we're going to make sure that when we're adding a card, it doesn't repeat twice. So if card not in deck, deck.append card. Okay, and when it equals 52, it will break. So then it will just break and we'll do print deck. So we'll make it print out the deck for us. Okay, you've also got to save it. So save it to your file, whatever. Let's just call it SuitSnap. Oh, deck is not defined. I know what's wrong. I didn't make deck equal nothing. There you go, now it works. Now it should work. And there you go, it prints it out. 2 of clubs, 3 of clubs, 7 of clubs, Queen of hearts, King of diamonds. So yeah, it did a list there. Nice. That worked. Okay, now we need to do it. So when you finish the deck, you need to add the jokers in. But since we can't make it so it checks for 2. Okay, so while length deck does not equal 54, it will do this. Location equals random dot randint. And you know we could just do length 0. This is the index we're putting it in. 0 is 52. But then the next joker will have an extra card in it, which it could go at the end again. So you want to do the length of the list deck still. 0, len deck -1 random.randint length of deck -1, and then we'll do joker. Sorry, you want to do deck.append bracket joker. Wait, how do you? Oh yeah, this is where you put the location. So you just I remember how to do this. To do index, you have to do location, comma, and then you want to. That's how you do it. That defines the index, so the location, and that's what you're adding in. Run it. Let's hope it works. Oh. I know there's a way of doing it. One sec. I'm sorry, I was using the wrong command. It's the list name dot insert. That's how you put it in a certain index. So then it will do it at this index and this object. Run. Okay, there's Joker. Ooh. Now, as you can see, there is a problem. We've got Joker of spades, and we don't want that. So you've got to make it so Joker's just not in this list anymore, because you don't need it there. Now it should just do 2 Jokers. Jack. Where's the Jokers? Then we got a Joker. We've got a Joker there. And we've got a joker there. Okay, so it did work. We've got 2 jokers. Nice. So now what we're going to do. Now we've got our deck sorted out. We need to make it so you can pull cards out. And, yeah, we don't want to print deck anymore. Make it so you could, it is your turn. And then you pull cards out, whatever. So what we're going to do is your turn. We're going to make it so you can ask to play again as well. So while play again equals, sorry, yeah, it is double equals true. Okay, while your if your turn equals true, so we're going to make that a thing in a moment. If what we're doing capital I's for. Equals true. This is just player 1 really. Okay, if your turn equals true, then do this. So you're gonna make it okay. Print it's your turn. Now the point is here, we need to make it so it asks for your names, asks if you want overdraw, and asks what the goal is. So we'll do that in a moment. We'll do that now actually. Ready? I'll just pause out, come back in with that bit because it's quite simple. Okay, so I'm back, and I've done a bit. So I made it so, what is your name, player 1? Simple. Player 1 equals input. What is your name, player 2? Player 2 equals input. Print what goal are you aiming for? And that's the amount of points. You can make it so it has a try and accept function. So you make sure the person doesn't enter the wrong thing, so it doesn't mess up your program. But I'm not going to do that now. I should do the basics. I would implement that in my own time, but it just doesn't matter. So I'm the only one doing this right here. And then does print, do you want an overdraw boundary? So this is basically if your score in the turn you win goes over this boundary, you lose instead. So you do yes, no, overdraw equals input. If overdraw equals yes, then overdraw equals true. I've put it to true because I prefer that to yes anyway. I just like Boolean. Print what is the overdraw boundary, it will then print that. So if you put anything other than yes, it won't accept it and there won't be an overdraw boundary. So actually I need to do an else for overdraw equals false, because I'm keeping it what is your overdraw boundary, and then you put a boundary equals int input. The reason I didn't reassign overdraw to the int input is because I want it there so the computer can check if there is an overdraw first before it checks if your score's over it. So that way I can have a Boolean check and then it checks if it's over this, rather than going straight to this. But we will need the overdraw equals false, because if I have not assigned overdraw to false and it's just input, when it goes to check if it's true, it won't work. It won't make sense to the computer. So now we have that. So while play again equals true, and then we've got another one. While player 1 score and while player 1 score is less than or equal to win, and player 2 score is less than or equal to win. Actually, no, it's just got to be less than, because as soon as it equals it, you've won. Then it will do the if your turn is true. So basically, the if, I'm going to do a while your turn is true, because I want it to repeat as long as you keep selecting the same thing. But I'm doing if first, because I only want that to print out once when it is your turn. So, like, for example, I only want it's your turn now. I don't want it to just start every time you do another card. I just want it to do it once when it's your turn. It's your turn, comma, and then we do the quotation marks, plus str. Now we don't need an str because we're not turning into a string, because player 1 value is already a string. If you make something just equal an input, it instantaneously becomes a string. It's your turn. It's your turn, Timothy, or whatever. Now we want to make it so that you draw your first card. So, what are we going to do here? Let me just get some space up quickly. Okay, so I'm back, and I've got this now. Okay, so now we know we're not going to print out the deck because we don't want you to know. we've already got a deck set up. So on every turn, you automatically draw at least one card. So you can't lose by drawing one card. You have to draw at least 2 to lose all your points. So what we also need is a permanent score, which your score could be compared to. So that's what your player score is going to be. And the other one that you earn points on during that turn is just called your temporal. So first of all, you need to draw a card. So print you drew the you drew the, and then we do the end quote, and then we do plus deck. I want the first index, don't we? So you drew the blah, blah, and now we want it so we have a list called drawn. Drawn cards. And every time it goes to another person's turn, the drawn cards goes back to nothing, because you don't want it to carry on checking to see if you've on your first card on your first turn if it's the same as the last one. So it's got to reset it. So deck dot remove, because we're removing the first card from your deck now, so it'll go to the next one. And then we'll do brackets deck dot remove deck 0. And then we'll do drawn cards dot append. This will always add it to the end. And we'll do deck 0. You're probably thinking right now, well, if I remove the first one and then add one, it's just going to add the next one on, because I've already removed the first one, so the first card, so the second card will be the one that's added. And you are right, that is what will happen. So I've got to do Control X and move that back, actually. So remember to do all of your appending first, and then remove. So that's no longer in your deck, and that's what you've drawn. Now, this is where we've got to check what the number is on the card, because that's what's added to your your points. Okay, so what we're going to do is if card now we've got to do if drawn card. I'll be right back. Okay, what you want to check is if the first letter has been added in. So basically, if ace, that's the only time it pops up. Isn't that ace? Yep, ace. If ace in drawn cards, and we want to make it so it's the last one, but because we've only got one card in there, you might as well just do that. You're going to add one to it, your temporal score. So temporal equals 0. Temporal plus equals 1. Oh no, not plus plus. There you go. That's a quicker way of doing temporal equals temporal plus 1. Okay. LF queen in drawn, and then we'll just copy and paste this actually. Queen in draw cards 1, add 12 to it. And then you want to do king, which will add 13 to it. And then we'll do jack, which will add 11 to it. And then the interesting one comes up with the jokers. Okay, the rest of them can be very simple, because we'll just do an else. You've got to int the first bit inside. We'll do that. And I don't like the I like the elif, so I prefer that. And it has to be, because if you're having an else function, you need elifs. Otherwise, this one, they will always do the else section as well. Okay, so I've done quite a bit here. I don't know how much you missed of that. Sorry for that. I've done these. So if ace is in drawn card 0, the first one, it will add 1 to your score, your temporal score, until you add it. Or queen will add 12, king will add 13, jack will add 10. And we have to do jokers as well, so we'll do them. Elif, joker in drawn cards. It has to actually do whatever, whatever value's in there and square it. If you get joker on your first card, because the point is jokers, right? They will square the value. They will square the value of whatever you're holding. And if you get a joker again after that, you lose the game. You're not allowed to do that. You lose the game as soon as you get a second joker, because you can't just square and square. That's just such a high score you'll lose. But if you do get a joker on your first turn, your turn ends because you're not meant to get one right at the beginning. So there's many ways your turn can end. Basically, Elif joker, your turn now equals true. Turn now equals false, sorry. So that will end it. Now, else. Okay, else. Okay. So this is where all the values that have numbers in them of a card, we'll just use them instead. We'll just use them. So what we'll do is drawn cards. No, you've got to do card. So you've got to make it so we have the card, and then we could do the index inside that, or one of those letters, one of the letters of that card, rather than doing the actual card itself. So we've got to do card equals drawn cards 0. And then we've got to do int. So we're going to do value equals int card, and then do the brackets 1. No, 0. You're doing the first part of card, aren't you? But what if it's a 10? Well, that's simple. You do, if there's a 0 in the second spot, add it on. I don't know. Basically, yeah. Do this first. Do if card, if 10 in card, value equals 10, else it will just do this. That's the easiest part you can do now. It will just go straight to that and int the first letter or number, because it is a string. And then temporal plus equals value. So we'll just add that value to your temporal score. When we're done with that, let's run it and see if we have any errors actually. What is your name player 1? Toby. What is your name player 2? Tim. What goal are you aiming for? I'm aiming for 100. Do you want an overdraw boundary? No. Play again equals true. Play again is not defined. I have not defined play again. My fault. Sorry about this. There we go. No, I have not defined it, have I? Right at the beginning, just define play again equals true. Now run it. Toby, Tim, 100, no. Player 2's score is not defined. Are you serious? Oh, they're still both player 1. Such a twat. There we go. Run. I can just do F5. What am I doing? What are you aiming for? 100? Do you want overdraw? No. If your turn equals true, your turn is not defined. Oh, I thought I did define it. We'll change that later, by the way. It's your turn, Toby. You drew the Jack of Clubs. It's your turn, Toby. You drew the 7 of Hearts. It's your turn, Toby. You drew 3 of Hearts. It's your turn, Toby. You drew the 10 of Spades. I know what's happening here. It's simple. It's simple. What's going on is we haven't made it so you can actually break out. Oh wait, no, it got to a joker, you see, and then it made it so I don't equal true anymore. That's the only time it breaks. Every other time, it's gotten to the bottom and realised, okay, it still equals true. So it's going to keep going back, keep going back, keep going back, keep going back. Okay, so now, when you get to that point, you've got to say, after all this, you've got to say, it works for now. Okay, now we're going to do while your turn. While your turn equals true. This is where you can repeat it. Sorry, just turn my light on. It makes it easier to see. While your turn equals true, this is where it says, okay, it's going to print your permanent score. Your permanent score, is, and then do that plus player 1 score, because we're doing player 1, and that I said that's going to be their permanent score. Print your temporal score is plus temporal. Print. Oh yeah, we only wanted to print their permanent score once at the beginning of their turn. Otherwise, you don't want it printing every single time until you come back to your turn. So just do. Oh no, damn it. Your permanent score is player. There you go, permanent. Have I spelled permanent wrong? Yeah, I have. Permanent. Yes. Okay. The next thing is, I'll be back in a bit. Okay, I got past a few bits. We're almost there, actually. Okay, so it prints while your turn is true. Your temporal score is that. So if you carry on, it'll print it over and over. Would you like to draw another card? You write stick or twist. And if another card equals stick, you end your turn by making it equal false, and player 1's score is increased by your temporal score. And it'll come back and it'll do all that again. Now, else, this is where it says, okay, this is where it gets interesting. You've got to print, okay, this is where you've got to literally repeat a lot of the code. Print, you drew the queen. Okay, now this is where it checks. The first thing you've got to do of all of it is to check if that suit is the same as the last one. Now, okay, we're going to make it so it looks inside the word. Best way to do that is to look at what letters are different. Now, they all end with S. However, because these are all going to be joined up with ace, 2, and spades, rather than going from the beginning all the way is awkward, we should go to the end and go back a few steps until all the letters are different. So have a look at D. That's different on diamonds. T is different. Then it's B. Then it's E. They are all different. So what we've got to do is take the length of our card, subtract 1 to get S, and then subtract 2 to get D. Because you know when you do length of something, it goes past the end index. So you've got to subtract 1, subtract 2 for the second to last. Okay, yeah. Okay. Okay, first of all, we've got to make it so you have to do I don't know how much you missed of that. Hopefully it wasn't much. Okay, so basically you made it in another card equals a stick. Return is false because you're asking for what's to another card. Adds that to your temporal score. Adds temporal score to your permanent score. And then you go on. You drew the card, whatever. If you do it again, drawn cards dot append that card. And then deck dot remove that card. Last card equals drawn cards. Drawn cards -1. Basically, what we want here is we want it so it's checking to see if the suit's the same. So last card, the card you drew before this one, is drawn cards, and then the index is the length of it. -1 would just be one back, which is the one we just added. So it'll be the same every time. You've got to do -2, so it's the one before that. So yeah, that will basically, if you're on 1, the length of it will be 2. Subtract 2, you get to 0. That will be the first card and drawn cards. So now we have that. Okay. If last card 0, so this is the card from that list, and we want it to be the length of it, don't we? We want it to be the end part. Subtract 2 equals len bracket last card subtract 2, because we know if we subtract 2 it always goes to that letter, equals drawn cards, the card we just did. Oh no, sorry, we can just do deck.0 because that's the one that's the card you just got. Deck oh no, we can just do the end of drawn cards because it's just the one you just added to. Drawn cards oh, I see. That's not going to do. That's going to make a card equal that. We've got to make it so that the card you just drew equals, basically draw equals deck bracket 0. So your draw, whatever you drew, is that one. Basically, drawn cards draw. So what you just drew this turn. If last card bracket len last card -2, so that letter, and this is draw square bracket len draw -2, print you lose, or we have to print the suits match. You lose all of your points. And your turn equals false. Now let's see if this works. Ready? We'll run it. Toby, Tim. Sorry, I didn't do an int properly there. I'll come back when it gets to the right point. Just want to point out, I forgot to actually make this a string, so make sure you do that before you Actually, yeah, I've got to do it the same with this one. Make sure you str all of your integers when you're writing them in lists. Yeah, so just do that. Okay, this is the thing. So we haven't changed the temporal score yet. We're just making sure that if you get the same suit, it makes you lose, and it does work with. See, I was doing it for a while, and then I got to diamonds and diamonds, and it works. And none of the cards repeated, which means the deck's working properly, so that works. Good. Yeah, I want to kill it. So now if we go to the bottom here. Okay, so what if the suits don't match? Well, you've got to go to else. This is where we've got to check if the numbers are the same. If last card last card 0. Okay, I've also got a rule in my game where if you get, say, a pair, it doubles, and then you get a 3 of a kind, it triples in a row, and if you get a 4 of a kind, then you just lose all your points that time. Because I don't want you getting that many points. It's just unfair. So that's the rule. If last card 0, because this will check the first bit, equals draw 0. Oh no, you're gonna make it so if it's a 10 so far. If last card 0 equals draw 0, print congrats. Your score has been multiplied by 2. Actually, no, we'll just get it simple. We'll keep it simple for now. You can probably add what you want in your own time. So just take all of this. And then do this forward. There you go. So now we'll check if that, for that, and that, and that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this video is quite long, so I think I'm going to leave it here. There's quite a bit to it. But this is the point now. If you get a joker this time around, times equals 2. Okay, now we want to square it instead. So to square it simple, you just do double times. Print congrats. Your score has been squared. Okay, so that's simple. Temporal plus equals value, yep. Okay, so now when it's not your turn anymore, and you're out, we've got to make it so the other person gets a turn. So we've got to literally take if your turn and copy it all. The only thing we've got to do is we've got to make it so it's the opposite player now. So we've got to do false. Player 2 score. Player 2, it's your turn. Everything's the same here. And then we do, because temporal can be either person, it's always reset to 0. It should be, yeah. Your score, yeah, draw another card. Another card equals input. If another card equals stick, whatever else, draw deck. Yeah, it's all the same. Suits match. Your turn equals false. Ace. Yeah. And we've also got to make it so when it goes down here, it's got to check to see if the score has been broken. We'll just do this bit actually. If player 1's score is greater than or equal to win, it will break, because it will only go down from player 1 at this point. And then after you win, it should print if player 1's score is greater than or equal to win, print you win player 1, else print you win player 2. But we've got the overdraw. So if player 1 wins, if overdraw equals true, if player 1's score is greater than or equal to overdraw, sorry, this is your boundary, isn't it? Not boundary, or boundary in Spanish, I guess. Yeah, I'm right. Print you lose. Player, you lose, and then it does plus player 2. wins. And then we copy that for the other one. If player 2 score, player 1 wins. There you go, and that's the game. Let's run it to see if it works. Oh, unexpected indent. Oh, okay, maybe that. Yeah, what am I doing? Now it should run. Let's just do 20. No. Actually, yes. Let's do 30. It's your turn, Toby. Your temporal score is 4. Do you want to draw another card? Twist. You drew the 9 of diamonds. Your temporal score is 8. What? Did I make it so temporal score changes? Oh, I didn't reset temporal score. Sorry. Temporal score is constantly going to be resetted, actually. My bad. Okay, now we'll do it. We're aiming for 20. Overdraw, yes. 30. Twist. I got the queen, nice. Oh, your temporal score is 24. I got the king. Still, it's a bit odd. Because it should have added 13 on. What am I doing? That was just one of them. Oh, I'm such a twat. I've got to do it on both. Now it should work. Wait, no, what am I doing? Oh, one sec. I'm not sure what's going on here. Let's run it again. Okay, this bit's fine. 20. Yes. 30. You drew the 9 of spades. I'll twist. Your temporal score is 18. What it's doing is it's always adding on the same thing. Let's have a look for this. Ready? Oh, I see. I don't. It's weird because I got this working last time as well. You drew the Jack of Diamonds. Ready? Maybe I should just show you the working one and then we'll compare them. I'm actually retarded. I've just figured it out. I'm just looking at the first card in the drawn cards. I've got to do the last card that you drew. Oh my god, it's length. -1. It's got to be for every single one when it's in the while section. There you go. That other stuff works, it's just that. Now I've got to do it for the other while. And now it should work. Let's hope for the best, people. My name is Toby. Tim, what are you aiming for? 20. Yes. 30. Okay. Twist. It's still, I don't know. Maybe if you follow along you can figure it out, because I didn't have this last time. I mean, I just realised something. I can just make it so it checks if it's in draw. Because that's the last card that's the card you just drew. Why wasn't I doing that the whole time? This way it's checking deck 0. Draw equals deck 0. Basically, yeah. Let's run it now. Probably won't even be different. I legit want to kill myself. Oh my god. Just realised the problem. I'm sorry, I didn't realise I left that on. It's card equals drawn cards. It should just be card equals draw. Yeah. If 10 in card, else value equals int draw. In fact, yeah. That should make it work now. Yeah. Hopefully it works. It works. Guys, it works, okay? That was the problem. That was the problem the entire time. Yes, it works. Ah, you lose all your points. Your opponent's score is 0. I've got the same problem with the other one now. But I'll just show you my finished work. You know what? No. That's pretty much this video, I think. Thank you so much for watching or spending all this time with me. I wouldn't expect anyone to do that anyway. But yeah, see if you can figure out that one. You probably can. Shouldn't be that hard. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, that's simple. I didn't change this to false. Yeah, that's pretty much it done. Thank you so much for watching all of this. If you did, you probably don't really care about this anyway. And these should all be, no, they're fine actually. They could just be that. Now it should work. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next episode. And peace.